China will have more broadband connections, DSL, otherwise cable, than the rest of the world combined.
It's sometime this year. They already have more connections than the United States does. And combine that with the fact that estimates vary, but somewhere between 90, 95, 98% of all of the computers in China are running unpatched versions of Microsoft Windows. Well, I should say pirated versions.
Pirated
versions of Microsoft.
You all need to listen to that. This is powerful. I mean, this is powerful. You're saying 95 to 98% of the computer users in China are using pirated copies of Windows.
Pirated copies of Windows. And if you listen to the politics, there's the U.S. just filed suit in World Trade Court about digital rights infringement and piracy against China. Well, this is a real good example of why.
Right.
But the fact that you have, like I said, essentially the overwhelming majority of computers in China are running pirated Windows. That means unpatched versions of Windows, and which means that they're just sitting ducks, to be infected.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
the simple side of that is they can't be patched because they're illegal already. They're illegal from the get-go, so they can't get the proper patches.
Microsoft has relented to some degree and started allowing people that have not been verified registered users to download patches. But people running pirated versions of Windows have this fear factor that, if I go out and get the patches, Microsoft's going to be able to trace back to who I am and know that I'm running an unregistered version of Windows, and it's probably a pirated version, particularly since I'm coming from country X, Y, or Z.
Right.
So, it's a way for them to find out about me. So even, in the cases where Microsoft will allow them to patch, they're not doing it for fear of being discovered.
Very serious. So that in and of itself, if China is so heavily compromised, how will that impact Americans?
It's just, more base for compromised computers to be used to send spam, to send out viruses, to attack other computers. We're seeing what we call distributed denial service attacks, where groups of these compromised computers are used to go out and attack other computer systems, often for ransom type of things, kind of like the old mafia insurance scam. You pay me $100 a week or I'll burn your business down. I'm offering you fire insurance. And they're going after particularly companies that have, some borderline nefarious operations, things like pornography or online gambling. And they will launch these attacks against those companies, take them down for hours on end. And you're talking companies that are making tens of thousands of dollars an hour. And they say, hey, if you will pay us X number of dollars a week, usually several $1,000s a week, we will promise not to attack you again.
Wow.
So, high-tech insurance scam.
Wow. Not to give any credibility to the companies that are already doing some relatively nefarious activities. Not that porn in and of itself, I mean, it's terrible stuff, but at the same time, if they've got legitimate business or operating legitimately, it's terrible that they can be taken down and then held for ransom. But of course, that could be happening to upstanding companies as
exactly.
well.
I mean, we've seen attacks. Probably about 4 years ago, there's a Canadian teenager that went by the name Mafia Boy.
Right.
And if you go out and Google on him, you'll find a lot of information. And this, early teenage boy, 10, 12, 14 years old, but took out Yahoo and E-Trade and several major sites. I don't remember all of them. It's been several years ago.
When you say took them out, you mean
he launched a distributed denial service attack against them, and literally made them unavailable for anybody to use.
Worldwide. For periods of time.
Yes.
My Lord. A teenager could do that. Very young, a 12, 13, 14-year-old.
Yeah.
Could do.
And the tools to do all this stuff are freely available on the internet for anybody that knows where to look. And
what can the U.S. government do to crack down on this, John? Is there anything they can do?
Well, two issues. One, it's a worldwide problem.
Right.
How are you going to, shut down websites that are in places like Belarus or that we don't even have minimum contact with. And then you have also the issue that the good guys need to be able to get a hold of these tools, to be able to test their networks, to secure their networks, so that they can see I'm not vulnerable to this type of attack.
How about if you've got folks working for you, if you're a computer company or a software company and you contract out work done overseas? Are there concerns that possibly that work, that code work, is going to be impacted negatively? Let's say in Armenia or somewhere.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at the statistics on the countries that conduct industrial espionage against U.S. corporations, I don't remember the exact order, but the leading ones are usually France, Israel, China, Japan, South Korea, India, Pakistan, the Philippines. I mean, where are we outsourcing all of our work to? Stuff that they were making concerted efforts to steal, we're given to them now. So it's a major issue. In fact, a lot of people, I do have several aerospace and defense clients, and there is a major concern that the Defense Department is now actually outsourcing a lot of software development of highly sensitive avionics software to foreign countries because they can get it done cheaper abroad than they can here in the U.S.
John, that is very serious, very serious. We just got a couple of minutes. I'm trying to think about, you've laid out on Wednesday and today so many critical issues. What can viewers do? And of course, most viewers or even viewers associated with small companies or even large companies wouldn't have the wherewithal to hire somebody like you and your company. I know obviously you all go out and I'm sure you represent large and small companies, but what could a viewer do to protect themselves, and any other issues that really worry you?
The big thing that really worries me is, people do things for convenience, rather than, what is safe. A couple of things that really worry me is wireless. At this point in time, anything that is wireless is basically not securable. So
you're not talking about my cell phone, though.
I'm not talking about your cell phone, but I'm talking about Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, or you're starting to see WiMAX being deployed by the
even towns.
Charleston
company recently was trying to become very
yes,
right.
And the problem is when you're on Wi-Fi, for example, even if you're doing safe web browsing, you set a little padlock locked.
Right.
Well, on a wireless connection, you can still compromise the information that you would think would be secure. So anything, let's put it this way, anything that you wouldn't want to see published on a billboard along US 17 or I-95, you don't want to do on a wireless network connection.
In our homes, folks, that we set up the little wireless connection in our home, it's much better then, I guess, to just continue to use the direct line coming in, whether with Roadrunner or Verizon or Comcast.
Yes, plug it in because you're not subject to attack, and then turn off the wireless actually on your computers. If you're walking around with a wireless-enabled notebook and say you're in an airport, then other people with wireless computers can actually connect to your computer, copy files off your computer, etc., through the wireless connection.
That is insane, John.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to we have such a focus on convenience that we don't even give any thought to what are the security implications.
So for the companies that are trying to proffer and to promote convenience, they really need to be focused on security issues and how they can be both convenient as well as secure. Can you do both? Can you be both convenient and secure, Jon Kibler?
Very, very difficult. I tell people, look at how you analyze systems that you're going to bring into your organization. And most people, the first question they ask once you get past the point of how much is it going to cost is, how am I going to use this system? What's it used for? What's it going to save me? Well, the real question that needs to be asked is, how can the system be used against me?
How can the system be used against me?
Yeah, I mean, and that's with any technology. I was at a security conference a year and a half or so ago where they were talking about all the issues with wireless security, and they were talking about major parts of our national critical infrastructure like power plants. In this case, it was actually a nuclear power plant that to save money, when they upgraded their digital controls, they put in wireless networking. And they were showing some pictures that were published in a trade publication of some of the wireless equipment they put in. And if you looked at it real closely, they had little labels on the outside of the box that told anybody that wanted to everything they needed to do to be able to get in and manipulate their wireless network or any of the equipment on their network. It's just...
John, you've opened up a can of worms. Unfortunately, we've run out of time again, just like we did Wednesday morning, a can of worms, and obviously there's a lot of places. We'll try to promote some of those real quick in the wrap, but a lot of things viewers need to be doing every day to really try to protect themselves. Thanks so much for your time,
definitely.
for being a part of the security conference last week here at the Holiday Inn West. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Jon Kibler coming up next. You heard John say it. I hope you've been listening. If you weren't with us on Wednesday, I hope you just took the time to listen to this critical interview the last 30 minutes. He had 5 key steps there. Patch from the beginning. Make sure the patching is done early on in your computer, right when you take it out of the box. Make sure it's done properly. There's other things you can do if you're using an existing computer, but make sure patching is done properly. Update your antivirus and anti-spyware software, anti-spyware daily, and make sure they're in the mode that runs continuously. That's continuously, all the time, the antivirus and anti-spyware. Keep your Windows firewall enabled. Keep that Windows firewall enabled, and also take the time in this instance to visit carolinapeople.com so you can see the right link to what John talked about, a cookbook for folks who can't even spell computer. The simple breakdown of going through these steps to get it right. Go on to carolinapeople.com and click on that link. And John, thanks again for everything.